Hi, it's Hazel. Welcome to my channel, Hazel and Aka Design. Now this is going to be a thrift haul video, and it may be a bit long because my intention was to show you the books that I thrifted recently, and I will be using the hashtag that Angela, the traveling crafter, invented, which is BOLO, BOLO books. Be on the lookout books. So, and you're probably saying to yourself, okay, she's finally flipped her lid here. These are not books, Hazel. So you'd be right. These are not books. However, these are some linens that I thrifted a while ago, did a video on. You probably haven't seen it. However, at some point in the video, I realized that, oh crap. Well, maybe I didn't say oh crap, but I thought, oh crap. I didn't have the things here that needed ironing. And I alluded to that. So basically, unless something is not washable, I tend to wash things I thrift. Unless they pass the smell test and you can tell that they're freshly laundered, or they already smell better than they're going to after I wash them. Otherwise, I do launder them and then iron them. So let's begin. Doilies are still, well, at least in my house, doilies are still a thing. So I will be adding this to the pile of pink, blush, whatever, this colorway that may or may not end up in some format in all of those blush journals that I'm doing. I'll just be stacking these things behind me. This is, I mean, we see this kind of stuff often. And it's not the greatest thing in the world. However, it does serve its purposes, both for if a person was doing a lace masterboard, a lace cover, and I really should do another one of those. I know maybe 2 years, or well, maybe more, I did make a lace cover. I loved the process. Now I wouldn't be quite as chintzy with the lace that I'd be using, because, you know, I was still collecting, and when you're collecting, you can't be, you know, you want to hang on to some stuff. This stuff is really soft. I know you've seen it. I know you have access to it, so I tend to pick it up if the price is right. Here, this would be similar stuff. Can't necessarily tell which is the right side or the wrong side. And this stuff is obviously was affordable as well, so that's why I got it. Now this is, well, I don't know if this would have been, is that a casing? No, not really. So anyway, it's hemmed. So it's done on Aida cloth. It's obviously a Ukrainian cross-stitch pattern. It's even fancier because they've used metallic threads as part of the design, as well as just a running stitch. Now, what this says or means, I haven't taken the time to look up and sort of translate. However, it's one of those things. That fringe. This has to be a self-made fringe. Two-tone yet. Anyway, it's one of those things with languages. Use it or lose it. And since I'm no longer coordinating that Ukrainian festival that I did for 10 years, my limited fluency in Ukrainian has gotten even poorer. So I will look that up. I did think, though, that this part, and trust me, I have a whole tote of Ukrainian stuff that should be turned into, again, 4 journals. I understand what's gone into this because I have cross-stitched pieces. So I'm thinking that this nice border, especially with this nice fringe, could be a cover in itself. And the beauty of Aida cloth is that you can pick your line and cut exactly on that line and probably go bigger and be able to hem like the other sides are hemmed. Just for the heck of it, let us measure. Oh, one of these days I have to show you a video about this center drawer on my desk. I know you can hear me open it every time I need to fish for a ruler. So this is very close. It's 12.5, very close to the right size for a cover. So picture that, if you will. Anyway, I was talking about my desk. One day when I should have been doing something probably more important, I started cleaning my center desk drawer. Probably haven't done it since I moved into this office, which is like about 4 years ago. This is an applique and with a wee bit of embroidery, flower and leaves. This little fancy thing here, those parallel lines, I'm not sure how they did that. I don't know. It almost looks like a pulled thread, but yet it's kind of raised as opposed to being empty, if you know what I mean. And of course, a lovely, delicate pink and white crochet trim. So this may very well get into my blush journals as well. Anyway, I was talking about my desk drawer. If you have a junk drawer at home, usually in the kitchen, you know that it collects. It's like it's a magnet for all the stuff that doesn't have a place anywhere else. You got a few extra screws when you've assembled. If you've got a couple loose screws, that's where you would throw them after you've assembled something. If you got a calendar from a business, you might throw it in there. Spare batteries, not sure if they're quite dead or if there's a little more life in them. That kind of stuff. Anyway, so I will show you how I repurposed it so that I could put all of my Ranger archival ink into it and actually be able to access it. And you will see some of my ruler collection. That's what made me think of that when I fished this guy out. Okay, this is huck toweling. Now, I don't know if you've ever done that, but I know it must have been part of the process in high school economics, home economics. If you're working towards your business degree, you need to know how to do huck weaving. Anyway, this is different. Well, I'm not going to turn this into a textile lesson. Just know that there are these little loopy threads. And typically, now this is not, they didn't do this is just straight old embroidery. But this could have definitely had a more geometric design. And I should show you, I still have my projects from high school. I must have been in a black, white, gray, and red phase because both of the projects that I did are, well, there's no red, but they were an accent to my red decor at the time. Anyway, this is beautiful. It is quite wide. I don't know exactly what this would have been. These are the factory edges, the salvage edges, so it's more than 18 inches. Anyway, sweet little birds. Again, would that not be great in my current project? So you can see why I needed to get on with this and show it to you. How about some pantaloons? Anyway, cute little dress that I thrifted. This was during a bag sale. And in case, no, this girl didn't wear her dress off the shoulder. 18 months, Penelope Mac, which reminds me I should salvage this this tag, because you know there's a whole thing. Whoops, that's not a seam ripper. There's a whole thing about using, usually they're vintage French laundry tags. Needless to say, I think I have one of those that someone gifted me. Other than that, I've got stuff like this, if I remember to remove it. Anyway, clearly you want to, if you have the patience, you want to remove the stitching as opposed to just cut into it. I won't continue to do that. But anyway, I was saying off the shoulder. Wait, let me just line up this back a bit. You can see that it has this beautiful hot pink, probably bias tape. And the reason this shoulder is missing here is because I cut this off. This came from here because, of course, I needed to save that flower. And I didn't want it to go through the wash. So that will find its way in. I guess this could be used as a journal topper. And this may be a bit hot and bright for the blush journal, but it will get used at some point. Anyway, love this polka dotted fabric, gold on white. It's got, you know, just a basic cotton lining, and of course, the bonus, little panty type thing. So that is that. This, now I would say that those are, I mean, this tone on tone stuff is always rich. It probably doesn't show up very well on camera, but unfortunately those are poinsettias. But again, if a person, you know, used this as a base layer and added a few more things on top, then it wouldn't matter. But of course, I mean, this is just a smallish square tablecloth. I mean, not that small, I guess. So about 30 inches, I guess, square. 31. But look at the lovely sort of, I think is that called cut work? And of course, this scalloped edge that has all been edged as well. So that will go to good use. And then finally, this pansy fabric. Now I did, you know, sometimes the way fabric is either in a bag or sometimes you can't tell what it is you're buying. I believe that this was a curtain panel because did I not finish? I took out the stitching. So there was a casing for a rod to go through. And I see that I still have a stitch, well, not anymore. Here's some thread I obviously didn't pull out. So there was space to run a rod through there. So there's a fair bit of fabric, and this is doubled up because I did not take it apart any further. Now I know that there are people who love pansies. I can't ever see myself doing a, you know, pansy journal as such, although they're cute, they're resilient, frost tolerant, and so many variations in color. But honestly, there are other flowers I love more. So I don't know if this will be put in my shop for sale or if it will just be pieced out and gifted to people or what, but that is that. Okay, finally, books. This is in no particular order, just the way I stacked them up. Now this says 20th century bookkeeping and accounting, and 9 1/4 by 6 1/2. You can see that the cover is, it's seen better days. Some Ukrainian here. So 1930, 1940. Oh, this was a textbook, grade 12. So, lovely paper. And this was just given to me by, 1939, by, I got a whiff of, old book. This was gifted to me by the woman at the antique store. Now I was buying things, and she knows that I have a thing about books, so this was one of the things she threw in for me, so I appreciate that. Cute little, colored things here and there. The grid lines on these ledgers, some of the sample, what is this? Credit memorandum. So they've used some colored pages there to replicate what a check or a receipt or whatever might look like in the real world. The more I flip this, the more I realize this thing needs to be propped open somewhere to air out. Where are they? They're not within reach. I'm also trying to do some, I don't know if it removes the odor or if it masks the odor, but I'm using some of those deodorizing things that the dollar store sells. So I will let you know if that works. I think I got this because it was a deal. It is Algebra, Book 1. It's got some issues, like so. But it also is one of those that has color sprinkled through it. 1965 is this version. So look at this contents with the, the orange. Look at the equations. And no, I'm not going to try to solve one of these. Honestly, is this, I think those of us that have creative brains missed the boat on some of the math stuff. If whole milk costs 5 cents more per quart than skimmed milk, express the cost of a quart of whole milk in terms of the cost of a quart of skimmed milk. Okay, they're giving us the answer. Since the cost in cents of skim milk could be any number greater than 0, the milkman is not giving it away. Which reminds me, I guess there used to be a saying back in the day, sort of hinting at adultery. No, not adultery. Do we say promiscuity? So back in the day when, of course, all good girls, were virgins when they got married, why would a guy pay for, wait, oh my God, now am I going to screw this up? Why buy milk if you can get it free from the cows? Anyway, sorry, I totally butchered that up. In essence, if you're loose, why would a guy marry you? Anyway, sorry, total, some of the holes I dig myself into. Okay, since the cost, the milkman is not giving away. That's what got me going. Use a variable to represent the cost. Let M equal the cost in cents of 1 quart of skim milk. I don't know what that little triangle, those dots mean. So M plus 5 equals the cost in cents of 1 quart of whole milk. Here you are employing the symbol equal in place of the word represents. So it still doesn't tell us what the answer is. Like, even I knew that. It's 5 cents more. Anyway, let me move on before I blunder a little further into something where I can't back up. So all these equations make for interesting collage pages, and it's just, frankly, a bonus that it's got all that orange. And it's not this kid, but if someone wanted to refresh their memory about algebra, like these, I should just, oh, what is this? Rational numbers and whole numbers. I know what whole numbers are, but what the heck are rational numbers? Positive rational numbers and zero. Yoy, yoy, yoy is all I can say. So, oh, here's another overlay. So imagine, oh, I guess it was meant to be angled like that because it's sort of one of those graphs. Are there more of those kinds of pages? Oh, so I could tear these things out. No, I could open up the signatures because they're sewn in, and I could have this. Is there only one here? I could use these over a page like this, and wouldn't that be great pockets? I have to keep this close at hand so that I do that and not just stash this book away and forget. Okay, onward. And try to erase that image of the cow. Okay, this is a 1970 Alberta motorist. And this, too, was just given to me by that lady. So, oh, there's Johnny Cash. So, I don't know if this would have been the precursor to AMA or Alberta Motors. Anyway, I don't know. So, there are some ads. There's a wee bit of color. Oh, how about a mini tip for the mini wearer? If you were entering a 1970 model car with a 1970 model miniskirt, it's demonstrated by 1970 model Paula Mitchell. First, sit with your back to the inside of the car. Then, keeping your knees together, swing both legs up and over the door sill. Once your feet are inside the car, center yourself in the seat and move your feet into position to operate the foot controls. Oh, she's a driver here. Now close the door, buckle your seatbelt, and you're off. Simple when done by these steps. Well, ladies, you can thank me in the comments for that tip, because I'm sure a lot of you are mini skirt wearers even now. AMA, so obviously this is one of those fodder type things. And of course the tip about the mini skirt is, I mean, that's worth the price alone. Okay, this is, sorry, this is the sign of, the joy of signing, 10 3/4 by 7 3/4 with, you know, inch plus spine. So let's see what date we can find. Fourth printing, 1993, and it was published in 63 under the title Talk to the Deaf. Mind you, then here's a copyright of 87 by Gospel Publishing House, Springfield, Missouri. Looks like the earliest date is 63, though. So, isn't this great? I think I've told the story before about my daughter needing to, when you're working on a Bachelor of Arts degree, or at least in the university she attended, you needed to have a language. So I think she didn't go with Ukrainian. I think she chose German and realized maybe not, even though German apparently a lot of kids take because it's supposed to be quite easy. Anyway, she then switched to sign language, and that's the one she got her credits on. I think it was about the same time our first grandkid was born, and as you may know, babies can't talk, but there is baby sign language. So people, mothers, fathers, teach their children sign language because the baby can't express themselves in any other way. So not surprisingly, this is milk. I can't remember what, I think this is more, like hand it over, more of whatever. So there were a few cute things that we were doing with that grandson. And then of course my daughter was taking sign language in university. Anyway, so let's talk about the book. So these could be great. They could be belly pans or the side of a page decoration. Anyway, then, of course, COVID came around. More recently, of course. And so there were daily press conferences with the Minister of Health in our province and other provinces across the country. And in every case, there was someone in a little inset, either standing, usually on an inset, but sometimes standing beside the medical officer of health or the premier or whoever was the official talking. And they'd be doing sign language. Anyway, so this one guy that kept showing up often, Hillary said, I know him. He was one of the instructors. And actually, because he was getting kind of a high profile with all the signing he was doing, eventually the daily newspaper in the city wrote a story about it. Well, it turned out, I believe, if I remember correctly, he was he was one of several children, maybe 4 or 5 children. Many of them were deaf. I think he was born deaf. Now, again, these details may or may not be totally accurate, but that's the impression and the way I remember it. Anyway, I guess my daughter, so this was all very, I mean, it's mind-blowing to me in the first place that number one, you could have that many hearing impaired people in one family. I can't remember if the parents were both deaf. However, the point of the story is that at some point, my daughter bumps into this guy. I mean, this is years after she was out of school. And you kind of, like, what do you do? It's not like you can slap him on the back and say, hey, Mr. So-and-so. I remember you. I was in your class. I was one of hundreds. Anyway, one of the things that he had said in class to the students was, chances are our paths are going to cross again in the future. Don't be embarrassed. Don't be, be at a loss for words, so to speak. Even if you've forgotten some of this, come up and say hello. So I guess she remembered that advice and actually did it. And it turned out that he actually remembered her, which is kind of amazing in itself. But anyway, so that was kind of my little brush with actually assigning my degrees of separation from a signing guy who ended up being one of the unsung heroes during COVID press conferences. Okay, I've been showing and not showing you this book, Singing Bee, a collection of favorite children's songs. Now, it is a bigger book. It's got a dust jacket. I showed you the cover. It's pristine. So it's a little over 11 and a little wider than 8. Whoa, that's quite the mustard yellow. The dust jacket, copyright 1982. So let's see, what do we have? 1982. What a shocker. So, cute index. Cute. Now, these are tiny enough that I could probably punch them out with one of my circular or square punches and, you know, not make myself go insane by trying to fussy gun. And more here. Look at these nice images, though. Of course, in the kids' music books, the verses are simple, the music is simple, so it's not a really dense, you know, it's not dense with notes, but it is darn cute. And look at some of these which just lend themselves so beautifully. This is Jingle Bells. To pockets or tucks or whatever. And again, because of the way it's laid out, it would be easy enough to just fussy cut. You know, this would be just so easy around her bonnet and done. Here it's a box. I wouldn't do around the fa-la-la notes there, but look at those lampposts. So this is another one of those great, great books. Oh, some are in black and white. Ring Around the Rosie. A beautiful book. Look at the little teapot. One of the first bins that covered bins that I think I paid $4 for at Dollarama. You know, they easily accommodate a a regular size sheet of paper, a letter size sheet of paper, and bigger, was on a tea journal. Have I ever made it? Nope. Because, unfortunately, there are more ideas, more resources than there are hours in the day, days in the week, weeks in the month, months in the year, years in a lifetime. So, look at that black sheep. Well, Baba Black Sheep, of course. Sandy, did you notice? Did you notice? Pat a cake. Anyway, enough about that. I'm sure that those songs bring back memories. I have 4 more. This is ending up being longer than I intended. The Great Illustrated American Cookbook, 11 by 8 3/8. Fairly big spine. DK is the publisher, and you know that they really have great illustrations usually. Look at these end papers with those vegetables and mushrooms. Kind of sepia-colored lettering. Isn't that gorgeous with black accents? So this is 1987. I didn't know that DK stood for Dorling Kindersley Limited and the Hearst Corporation. You know, it's amazing how back in the day, you know, when there was just TV. Oh, there was a spill here. Somebody pre-dyed this page. Oh, looky here. So clearly, they're not sewn in, they're just glued in. But look how nicely that came out. Anyway, back in the day, when there wasn't all the access to media, if a story gripped the traditional media, you know that you heard about it for days, weeks, months. So the Patty Hearst thing, of course, made Hearst a household name. Look at these wonderful pages. Frog cake, oh, well, frog cupcakes. Cut that out, you've got a journaling card. Fold it this way, you've got a tall skinny. This is an awesome book. And, you know, for people who prefer the grungier look, oh, that's a song lyric. If I knew you were coming, I'd have baked a cake, baked a cake. This color is just so, I don't know if the pages were cream or if they're kind of discolored because they're old. But it's so soothing and pleasing to the eye. And look how well illustrated. Even I could probably learn how to do a lattice top. Not likely to ever happen, but hey, and the chapter pages always have a bigger, like, I could just see doing that. Another thing that I started, but haven't acted on, you know those under the bed storage things? I think they're intended maybe for a wrapping paper. So they're really long. You could put rolls of wrapping paper, and then they have those two sort of trays that sit in above that, that, you know, where you could put bows or cards or whatever. Anyway, I have one of those, and it is full of the makings for a sewing, homemaking, domestic arts, you name it, kind of journal. Look at these. Fussy cut. Anyway, and this is as close as I'm going to get to ice cream. I discovered that one of the things that was wreaking havoc with my digestive system was dairy. You know, starting every day with yogurt. Well, it turns out I have a sensitivity to casein, which, I don't know if I'm saying it right, Casein, is a milk protein. So there are a few colored pages here as well. But basically hundreds and hundreds. I wonder if they even say how many. Excuse me. Look at the table of contents. I guess they don't brag about how many illustrations they have. Who could count that high? But just an incredible book. So this is one of those definitely Bolo. Be on the lookout. Canning. And even the color photography, the color photography is not that sickly, unappetizing color. So if that doesn't make you want to run to a book, oh, full color gallery, 600 recipes, but that doesn't tell you how many illustrations. Over 1,500. Sorry about my throat. It's only the second video of the day. Third last. My Life with Birds. The Education and Successes of a Wildlife Artist. You know I love a landscape book. 10 1/4 by 11 5/8. Always have to be a little careful with these big books so as not to bash you in the face. Well, let's see if we can find, oh, kind of glossy. I must have thought it was good though, because I still bought it. Or the price was right, one or the other. Okay, so here we have like a study, and here we have the finished thing. Oil on canvas, 1986. Glossy. Oh, this guy was born in 1908. We can assume he's deceased. And this was copyright 2003. Well, that's 20 years ago, 20 plus years ago. Anyway, yeah, really slick pages. But watercolor on mat board, that can't be easy. Canada geese. Mallards. A 15-cent stamp. I guess that's a first day cover. So again, one of the first things I started, a study and a painting, was a box. This one is 1937, field study, on birds. Have I done a bird journal? No, I just keep buying more bird books. Look at those birches. Oh, poplars. Love it. Okay, prepare. If you're not already sitting, sit down for this one. Marilyn Monroe uncovers. Isn't that clever? 12 inches by 9 inches. So look at this. And look at what a sweet young girl she was before she became a sex symbol and a siren and a vixen. So basically, what do we have here? 1994. This is a first edition. It's just book covers, or not books, magazine covers. The cover of Time. Now, what year was that? Had to be pretty cheap because the subscription cost $6 for the whole year. Post. OG, or I don't know if that's how you say it. That's a foreign language one. TV Guide, True Romance. Look. That was November 1953. Look, Red Book. Pick, Movie Stars, another foreign language one. Another foreign one. Like her face was everywhere. Movie Land, Screen Story, Stage and Cinema. Focus. Photoplay Pinups, Art Photography. I don't remember what year she died. Cosmopolitan, Tempo, Picture Digest. So I don't know. I guess I could have started at the beginning to see if this was when she was just a little ingenue. Okay, this is 1949. She looks pretty fresh-faced and kind of, innocent there. And it's probably another one. Okay, this was on the set of the movie 7 Year Itch. This is probably another one of those things where somebody's talent, beauty was exploited by the people around. I don't know her story, but, clearly she went from that to some of the more racier stuff for the day. 1962. Some of these are in black and white. Elle Magazine. Police Gazette. Suppressed Facts of Marilyn Marilyn Monroe's Secret Life. That was 1956. And of course, poor thing, did not get a chance to grow old. This was when bras made boobs like almost a lethal weapon. 1946. The poor woman did not have a chance to grow old. It's kind of hard to know if some of these early stars would have latched on to, what am I looking for? Plastic surgery and augmentation and fillers and all the other stuff that people now do in a futile attempt to look young. And that's why the ones who don't stand out just for their own. And I mean, like this is from Turkey. Oh no, opposite page. This one is Turkey. This is Italy. That is some Asian one. Japan. U.S., Italy, U.S. So, you know, if a person was doing a sort of a 50s project, there's certainly no shortage of images. It looks like vamp, kind of a vamp there. Oh, that's a movie. We're Not Married, a 20th century Fox. 1954. Anyway, yeah, the people who aren't using those kinds of devices, surgical intervention, and that are the ones that are being lauded as so wonderful, when in fact that's how women did it for generations. 11 1/4 by 8 3/4. This is also a great book. California Orange Box Labels, an Illustrated History. And that's the cover. And again, mint. Yeah, so we've all seen some really bad cases of plastic surgery. So this says 400 color illustrations. Oh, I should look up the year. I grow these myself. 1985. Honestly, has this book been cracked open? I don't know. So again, one of those things that could very easily, looks like there's sewn in signatures too, very easily be used for ephemera. Oh, this is talking about different, I guess, effects. So halftones, hand stippling, so it's that almost like pointillism, crayon drawing. Oh, I guess this is also a lesson on printing, since it's talking about labels, lithography. Anyway, I was saying bad cases of, or unfortunate results of plastic surgery, botched attempts, and I mean, those people are the subject of ridicule, because, like, who are you kidding with those lips and that forehead that doesn't move and the... No, don't do that. And the scary part is that I know young women in their 30s who are getting fillers Now, mind you, I heard that at the hair salon, you know, one of those more la-di-da places where, you know, you can get manicures, pedicures, waxing, and fillers. So I guess maybe with the staff discount. But I don't know. I think that's a dangerous path. Look at how beautiful these things are. Now, could I hold this up to the light? It almost looks as though if I cut this one out, this one would be intact as well. So that is awesome. And people like Carol from Crinkled Path, who lives in California, probably has access to some of these kinds of old labels, or may remember, because she has an incredible memory, probably remembers some of them from her youth. Do you remember when produce came in actual wooden crates? I don't, but I remember seeing, you know, paper labels on wooden boxes that obviously didn't hold up very well over time, but so just, do they say how many? Yeah, 400 color illustrations. And again, every sort of, you know, if military or masculine, royalty, cowboy, indigenous. This looks like the 20s. Now, I'm not sure about the political correctness of that little African-American waiter there, but aviation, poppy, adios, star kiss. Boy, you have to wonder what some of these names had to do with the fact that they were selling oranges. Endurance, strength, courage, stalwart. Out of sight. And of course, nobody can grow oranges in Canada, so all of our oranges are imported from someplace or other. Red Riding Hood, cute. Jack Horner, film star. I haven't really other than seeing this at the point of purchase, I haven't looked through it in any detail. Fido and Tomcat. Attaboy. It's too bad that they don't, or maybe they're talking about the 1920s. American commercial illustrators have over the years used pictures of innocent, friendly children to represent a healthy, happy, and carefree lifestyle. During the 1920s, increasing numbers of orange growers chose label designs reflecting those themes. So I guess this is circa 1920s. Depiction of women on labels underwent a marked transition during the advertising age, starting with naturalistic portrait images such as Iva at the start of the 1920s, and going to representations of carefree young women like California Eve. Where's California Eve? Oh, right there. When was California Eve? A few years later. Treasure Chest was the 1930s. Yeah. You want to sell orange juice? Sell it with women. And sell it with sexy women. Look at how nice these are. They don't even have the company name on them. Stock labels. Oh, I see. Anyway, I'm sure I've gone on. Look at these. I love the look of magnolias. There are some aminos. Gypsy Queen. Indigenous people. Okay, these must be, okay, the Old West. Mexican heritage, because I imagine oranges come from Mexico too, probably. Naturalism, 1885 to 1920. Anyway, I love this book so much. Maybe you can tell. I'm going to stop there. Sorry I snuck in some textiles into a book and a bolo book thing, hashtag, but I think you understand why I had to break the rules. Anyway, thanks so much for joining me, guys. And if you haven't already done so, I would definitely be grateful if you would subscribe. This is the sort of content I bring you, along with Craft with Me, Show and Tell, organization, scrap busting, flip throughs, and just questions you were afraid to ask, and some riffs on topics that have nothing to do with anything that we're doing here on this channel. Anyway, thanks so much for being here, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.